Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about gender, and in particular the stereotypes and equality or inequality of gender. So a good example we're going to start with of gender bias comes from tennis. This is a little bit of a conversation between Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams. So Novak said that I think our men's tennis world, ATP world, should fight for more because the stats are showing that we have much more spectators on the men's tennis matches. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe we should get awarded more. Women should fight for what they think they deserve, and we should fight for what we think we deserve. And in response to that, Serena said, I've been playing since the age of 2, and it would be shocking to say that my son would deserve more than my daughter. It is irrelevant. Novak is entitled to his opinion, but if he has a daughter, and I think he has a son right now, he should talk to her and tell her how his son deserves more money because he is a boy. So this conversation comes from the fact that in tennis, both men and women have equal pay. Novak's argument is that they play 5 sets and that the girls play 3. Therefore, he feels as though they're actually getting paid less money. And if you look at it on a per hour basis, then he's correct. So is it an example of gender bias, or is it an example of gender equality? Men's netball, the push to be equal. A few questions. We're going to watch a little video about men's netball shortly. So a few things I want you to think about while you're watching the video. What are some key differences between men and women's netball? Why is it not promoted as a men's sport? And why you think netball, when you think netball, who are the main role models that come to mind? So watch the video and then have a go at answering these questions.
My name is Junior Levy. I'm 24 years old. I live in Goodna in Brisbane, currently representing the men's open netball team, and also am the current Aussie captain. Obviously I'm Samoan descent, but we have everything, we have a mix of cultures, of points of view, of ages as well, which is really good.
2 on 3, 1, 2, 3, go!
At university, the first thing I did was find the nearest Samoan people and become friends with them. So they invited me just to come to a social netball game in 2011, just at the local courts, just near my house.
Obviously, when you've got a guy that's 7'2", 219 centimetres, you're going to spend a lot of time featuring him and building your structures around him, and that's what we've done. We get big guys, but to get really big guys, it's fairly rare. I see New South Wales have got one playing, I think he's about 6'8", 6'9". That's their first really big guy that they've had. He's a big, strapping lad. He's very athletic, so they're coming through more frequently. Most of them come from ex-rugby, and their size is a massive advantage.
It's a non-contact sport, but it's all about the contact. Like especially in the men's arena, it's a lot of push and shove.
So I'm Jack Edwards, I'm 16. It's a lot like basketball. I really enjoy basketball, but I enjoy the pace of netball. I think it's a lot quicker, especially the men's game as well. The women is a lot more, I find, fundamental and more tactical, whereas the men's is athleticism, jumping, running, speed.
There's that masculinity undertone when we play netball.
A lot of blokes think it's a sport for women. We get asked a lot if we wear skirts. We don't really reply, just brush it off.
Yeah, all the time. I get that so much, it's not even funny. But I don't know, when you enjoy the sport and you like playing it, you kind of ignore that, you block that out.
It's getting bigger and bigger. Like, this is the biggest national titles we had. When we first started national titles 31 years ago, there's basically 4 states playing 1 grade. And that has built and built and built.
We do not promote it as a men's game, and I make no apologies for it. I think it's great to have something that the women are in charge, and it's very great that the role models for netball is probably the only sport where the role models are women.
I think that's a silly angle. You reduce your chances of funding, as in corporate sponsorship. You reduce your opportunities for Olympic selection as a sport. If you look at what the Olympics have done, they've got rid of softball because it was a one-gender sport. They got rid of baseball because it was a one-gender sport.
Like obviously they need to present the case to the IOC. In order for that to happen, they need to present it as a sport that will be taken interest into. And the only way to do that is to get as much people watching as possible.
Corporate dollars will come to a sport that supports everyone.
In Samoa we have, it's almost like It's almost like New Zealand. We like to mimic a lot of the sports that New Zealanders love, and that's because all of our families are in New Zealand. Samoa, just a lot of men play socially. Whakawhine's are, males who mimic female, well, not female, but feminine qualities. And so one of those feminine qualities is a love for netball or affinity to play netball and to watch the Silver Ferns. They're very much at the forefront of netball in Samoa. There are competitions where it'll be all females, but Whakawhine's can play as well, just purely because in Samoa there's no real differentiation between the two.
All the time I was thinking, if only I was this good at basketball, I'd be making millions. But look, I think when I'm good at it, I enjoy it, so I think I'm going to keep playing it.
I've been raised not to think about money as an object or as a means to happiness, and so that's sort of how I've taken to sport as well. Like, I want to do something that I love to do, therefore I'll be passionate to do, and I'll be passionate to play really well. If I was playing for money, I wouldn't be very good at netball, to be honest.
Welcome back. How did you go? So what do you think? So what are some of the key differences between male and female netball? Is it the physicality? Is it the skill level? Is it faster? Is it more athletic? Etc. etc. Why is men's netball not promoted as a sport, and who came up with that crazy idea? Whose opinion actually matters, and how does that affect the sport going forward? And when you think netball, who are the main role models? I can't think of one male role model when I think about netball. So answer those questions if you haven't already. Okay, there are many other places where women and men are treated differently, not just out in the sports field. So a few examples that studies show that women are likely to be treated less aggressively until they prove that they are as sick as male patients. So this comes down to a study that shows that women and men, when they go to the doctor, when men say that they're in pain, then they are believed more and they are treated more aggressively with painkillers, whereas women, they pretty much have to prove that they are in as much pain as they say before they are given the same amount of painkillers, which is pretty crazy. Another way where men and women are treated differently, or boys and girls, that fathers tend to use more analytical language when they're talking to their young daughters than when they're talking to their sons. Boys are more likely to use words like win and top, so competition sort of based terms. Fathers also talk about sadness with their daughters a lot more than with the boys, and they're more likely to engage in more rough physical play with boys than they are with girls too. An example that you guys see every day is that the female and the male uniform at our school is completely different. Yes, we do allow girls to wear pants and other parts of the male uniform. I'm not sure actually if we allow our lads to wear the female uniform, but the fact that we don't just have a uniform and then uniform options, and many schools are very similar, show that then again men and women, or boys and girls, are being treated differently. This is quite a recent example of a young boy called Noah. He really wanted to go to a party that they were having at Disneyland. This little party turned out to be for girls only. It was a princess party. You just had to get dressed up in your princess outfit, go along, and you pretty much get pampered for the entire time. But poor Noah was turned around at the door and told that he wasn't allowed to attend because he was a boy, even though one of his favourite things in the world is to get dressed up as a princess. So, it's pretty unbelievable in this modern day and age of social media that Disney World would actually turn away someone like this, knowing that they're probably going to get a fair bit of grief for it. So quickly they retracted their statements and their steps, and they allowed Noah to come along, but only after after pressure from social media and the like. These are two examples of toys from McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you order a Happy Meal, and you get asked, do you want a boy's toy or do you want a girl's toy? So you can quite clearly see here, based on our own stereotypes, what we think the girl's toy is going to be, and that's obviously the Barbie ones at the top. Down the bottom, the boy's toy being the Hot Wheels cars. So even big corporations like McDonald's are getting in on it. Another one is in our everyday lives, at weddings, etc., where we say, oh yeah, we have a bridal party. Okay, who's your best man? Who's your matron of honour or your maid of honour? Okay, and it's not really allowing for us as humans to have a best friend who is a female. Why can't I have a best woman by my side as my best friend? Why do I have to have a best man? Same with the matron of honour. Why can't be a man of honour for the bride? Why can't she have a best friend as a male? So, it's an interesting concept. People do break down these barriers. People do have a man as their maid of honour, if you like. And the more and more people do it, the more common it'll become, and the more acceptable it'll become in modern day society. But if we want to make these changes, then we've got to be at the forefront of them. Okay, so the last two activities you're going to do on your own. So we need to go out, hit up Mr. Google. We need to find out at least 3 examples where people are paid differently in their jobs just because they are either a male or a female. So there's a couple of little examples there. So that's our first activity. And our next activity is to switch places. So after looking at the articles, after looking at different views on gender equality, etc., we're going to form an argument piece that we could possibly use in a debate. Okay, this needs to be factual, it needs to provide an argument, and you need to justify this. So all the males in the class are going to be taking the side that women are unfairly treated in sport, and all the females are going to take the side that males are unfairly treated in sport. So the key things in your argument, they need to be at least 500 words long. Okay, it's around about a page. You need to do some research, and you need to collect evidence to back up your statement. Okay, you need to explain your understanding and suggest ways to improve this issue. Alright, so this is done on your own piece of paper or on your own Google Doc or anything like that. Okay, and your teacher will be coming around helping you out with this. Put your hand up if you have any questions. Okay, and this is our extended abstract question for this topic. Thanks, guys. See you.